Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with the 10th standard chemistry and physics. Unit number 6 is structure of atom. In the series number 4 is going to be discussed. Earlier, we completed series number 1 to 3 and all detailed explanation available on the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry. Apart from this, from unit 1 to unit 5 of this 10th standard chemistry and physics, all these topics are available on the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry. In this session, we are going to discuss with when any metal and it's a salt subjected to heating on the flame test, then what kind of characteristic color will be appeared and what could be the reason for that one. That activity is going to be performed. Let us enter into our today's concept, right? So, do you enjoy Diwali fireworks here? So fireworks, how they are working, how they are sparkling. In order to understand that what they are made up of, that we have to know. Then when they subjected to heating or burning are called combustion, what happened? They subjected to, they will give the sparkles, they will give such a kind of fire from that one. Purely, most of the compounds, most of these fireworks are made up of metals and its salts. When subjected to burning flame test, they will give their own characteristic color, right? So if sodium is there, you will get a golden yellow color, and strontium will give crimson red color, barium will give apple green, and the calcium will give that green color only. So in this way, various metals when present, they are able to give different colors in that, right? So, and let us understand what could be the reason and what chemistry lays behind that. So in order to understand that, they are created by the use of metal salts. These fireworks are crackers are made up of metal salts. These salts are different from table salt. Table salt, when we are taking and burning, sodium chloride will be there in this table salt. That table salt will not give any color, and moreover, when sodium metal was taken, it will give a golden yellow color. So here, these salts are easily combustible. That means volatile kind of salts may be considered for this kind of fireworks. Immediately they will burn and they will give such kind of sparkling colors, right? So here, salt is a table different from the table salt and contains metals and sometimes non-metallic atoms also present, which are susceptible to participate in the combustion process. When you are taking metal, so for example, copper, and it combined with chloride. So copper will be the metal and chloride will be the non-metal. In that way, metal and non-metal, both the combinations can be taken for such kind of fireworks. Some of these compounds produce intense colors and upon burning, make them ideal for frameworks. So intense colors will be generated and immediate burning spontaneity will be there without any continuous heating and high temperature. All these are not required. Within short time, they will subjected to combustion and they will give the such kind of fireworks. Others like potassium nitrate, sulfur, charcoal often used to help them fireworks to burn. So these are the supporting agents which used to increase that combustion process, and they will facilitate the process of combustion, and they will give colors, they will support them. Nitrates and chlorates or perchlorates provide the oxygen for the combustion of the fuel. They also incorporated in these crackers what kind of materials? Nitrates, chlorates, and perchlorates. So when these nitrates, chlorates, and perchlorates are present, so they used to combust with oxygen. Combustion is nothing but burning in the presence of air, burning in the presence of oxygen. So that kind of oxygen fuel will be supplied if we are having nitrate, chlorates, and perchlorates in that. Dextrin, often used as a starch, holds the mixture together. And another ingredient of these fireworks are we may use starch in order to combine all the things, and that will give the gummy tendency to bind all the things what we are adding in this. Metal salt is added. Apart from that, potassium nitrate, sulfur, charcoal can be added in order to facilitate that firework. Nitrates, chlorides, perchlorates used for the combustion, oxidizing agents, all these are. And starch used to combine all the things. That will hold all the things. Some colors can be strengthened with the use of chlorine donors. When chlorine donors, that means chlorinating agents present in that will induce the intense colors in the fireworks. So in that way, here all these are the compounds which are used to give the sparkling colors upon burning, and this is the main chemistry involved in that. Now let us see which kind of substance used to give which color, corresponding color of all these metals, chemistry behind this. So in order to get the red color, we have to burn the salts of strontium, orange color imparted by the calcium salts, yellow color given by the sodium salts, and the green color by barium salts, or blue color given by copper salt. Purple color combination of copper, strontium compounds. When we are taking the alloys of all these combination metals, when taken, purple color will be imparted, and a silver given by white hot magnesium and aluminium. And when we are taking magnesium, aluminium, and even what is the next one, talcum, all these are used to give the white color, silver color by this magnesium aluminum combination, and white color imparted by these three materials are in the combined state. This is the data collected from earth sky portal from the internet, right? So this is the main chemistry involved in this. Different colors can be imported by the addition of different metal salts. So, and along with these metal salts, we can add some other materials like potassium nitrate, sulfur charcoal, nitrates, chlorides, perchlorates, and even starch or dextrin. Dextrin nothing but glucose. They can be added in order to hold all the substances together, right? So now we are going to perform the activity. So we are going to conduct the flame test by using different metal salts. Take a pinch of cupric chloride on the watch glass. I took this cupric chloride on the watch glass, and make a paste with a concentrated hydrochloric acid. So to this cupric chloride, some drops of hydrochloric acid was added, and it made into a paste type of material. Now we are taking platinum loop. So that platinum loop used to introduce this compound on the flame. On the platinum loop, we are taking this paste, and that is subjected to flame on the non-luminous flame. That is not much burning, non-luminous flame, just like our household cooking gas stove you may take. In this way, otherwise Bunsen burner is also suitable for this one. This is the platinum loop, and we introduce the compound into this non-luminous flame. And copper chloride, when subjected to burning, it will be burning like this. So cupric chloride produces a green color flame upon this Bunsen, otherwise household flame. And same activity we are going to perform with taking strontium chloride. So in order to do this, first we are taking a pinch of strontium chloride onto the watch glass, and again it is added with the hydrochloric acid drop by drop until it made into a paste. Now we made this strontium chloride into the paste with hydrochloric acid. So it was taken onto the platinum spatula and introduced into the non-luminous Bunsen flame. Now, when it's subjected to heating or flame test, what happens? It used to give the crimson red color flame on this flame test. Crimson red color will be imparted. So here, these are the various conditions we are going to perform the flame test, and these are the characteristic tests for all these metals. By using this type of flame or color of the flame, you can identify what metal present in that. So this is a kind of analysis of the unknown metal compounds, right? So here, another thing we are going to observe in our daily life. Do you observe yellow color lights in the street lamps? Yellow color lights are given by sodium metal. So pure sodium metal, always it is stored in kerosene, and because when it is in contact with water, it will give the explosive tendency. That's why it should be stored in the kerosene only, right? So when this sodium metal subjected to vaporization, so it is in solid state, right? Upon heating or electrical discharge, it may be vaporized. So sodium vapors are used to turned into a yellow color light that used illuminated in the street lights. So this is a reason. Sodium metal, when subjected to vaporization, that will give the yellow color light. So this is also another kind of color test you are performing. Applications of color test in our daily life. Why do different elements emit different flame colors when heated by same non-luminous flame? We are taking same non-luminous flame, but different metals are having different kind of nature, different kind of color on the flame test. What could be the reason? When calcium subjected to burning, orange red color is appeared, and a sodium yellow, golden yellow color is possible. Potassium will give lilac purple color, and the barium will give yellow color, apple green color, and the strontium crimson red color is possible. Magnesium Silver white color is possible, lithium will give red color, intense red color is possible, and cesium will give blue violet. So here different metals are having their own characteristic color. Whenever you are subjecting to flame test, always they are used to give the same kind of color, irrespective of time, irrespective of place, irrespective of compound quantity. So always they used to give the same colors. These are called the characteristic colors. That means wherever or whenever you are performing the same test, you will get the same results. That is called a characteristic test. Then, so when we are subjecting these different metals to flame test, they are giving different colors. That is purely because of line spectra. This is the chemistry involved in this. Scientists found that each element emits their own characteristic color. These colors corresponding to the discrete wavelengths. So when they subjected to flame test, they used to absorb some kind of radiation from that flame, and they used to emit some other light. Only that light is emitted when that kind of particular metal is burned. So this is purely because of line spectra. They're used to emit the line spectra. That emission, what light emitted, remaining will be absorbed. Only one characteristic color will be emitted. So because of that reason, they are having their own characteristic colors. Here you can clearly observe that whenever any black body is subjected to heating and passing through the prism always having tendency to split the single beam of light into multiple one. And while observing the line spectrum of any material, so continuous spectrum will be generated instead of a fragmentation. So here continuous spectrum is originated from the black body radiation when they subjected to heating and consequently passing through the prism. And upon heating of hydrogen gas and subsequently passing through the prism, that used to give the absorption spectrum. Absorption spectra is nothing but how much light absorbed by the substance can be analyzed. And another possibility is also there called emission spectra. Emission spectra can be observed whenever substance subjected to heating, and after that, that used to illuminate some kind of light outside. Whatever light coming out can be analyzed, that is called emission spectra. If you are analyzing what light absorbed is called absorption spectra. If you are analyzing what light coming out is called emission spectra. In these ways, the spectrum of the compound can be analyzed, either absorption, emission in the continuous spectra. And the lines in the dynamic spectra can be used to identify unknown atoms, just like the fingerprints in order to identify the unknown persons. Because no two persons are having coinciding fingerprints. That's the reason why in the defense system, they are using fingerprints for the identification of the persons. Forensic department is using this one. So because they are unique. So their own fingerprints are used to identify the person in the similar manner. These flame tests are the characteristic reaction for individual elements. Hydrogen line spectra will appear like this, and the helium is identified by using its own line spectrum, and a neon line spectrum will be appear like this, and the sodium metal used to give the yellow colored line spectrum in its spectrum, and mercury can be identified by its own line spectrum. Already some valid data is available. If we coincide that data with the unknown element, you can compare which element it is. So in this manner, we can identify what unknown element is present, and this is for the identification or analysis of the compounds are possible. So by this, we completed this session. So in this session, we discussed about how the colors appear for different compounds and what kind of spectra are available when they are subjected to heating or irradiation with light. Any kind of activity, how many type of spectra are available, and what colors exhibited by what color metals and non-metals, and what is the reason behind that, and why crackers are glowing with us different colors, and what kind of materials involved in its manufacturing. So all these topics discussed in today's session. Hope this session will be helpful for your preparation. Thank you very much for your consistent listening. In the next session, we will come up with the Bohr's atomic model. Thank you one and all.